This is the Voice of Freedom on Freedom 107. Jeff Akin along with you. Glad you could join us for another edition of the Voice of Freedom. Joining us in the studio this morning is Ann-Marie Murrell. She is she does a lot of things, actually. She is actually on a program called Politichicks.tv with a lady named Victoria Jackson. She also writes for the Reagan Report, and she's on PatriotUpdate.com. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. You're a busy person.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
All right, let's first talk about how did you get involved in politics? That, to me, is always a very interesting story for anyone that I talk to.
Wow. Actually, I started out a kind of liberal Democrat. I was in California. I was an actress, and that's kind of just what we are.
Sure.
And but then for me, I changed at 9/11. 9/11 changed everything for me. Yeah, I know. I'm one of those. Dennis Miller said the same thing, that it was kind of like, I finally, I got it. It was like a light went on. I finally understood. I understood why we had to build our military. I understood the threat, the enemy that we have in America. And yeah, so that's when I changed over.
When you say that 9/11 did it, what were you thinking before, and then how did that thought process change, and now what do you believe?
Wow, it's really sad. I've apologized at Reagan's grave. Literally, I've been to President Reagan's graveside and apologized for this. But I believed, as you and I talked a little bit about this earlier, I believed, as a lot of people did back then, if you were a Democrat, that we didn't need to build our military. And that seemed to me what Reagan was all about, building military and working, pointing out our enemies when I didn't feel like we had any enemies. I was very naive. I was, I guess I'll call myself an idiot. But
well, basically, that worldview says that, look, I'm basically a nice person, and that mankind basically is nice as a whole.
Yeah.
And then when you begin to see something,
and rainbows.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah.
But then when you see something like 9/11, that's got to be a wake-up call.
It was. I understood World War II because that was they bombed our military. That was in America. That was us. But Vietnam, which is what I had when I grew up, that was foreign to me. That was someone else's fight.
It was a TV war.
It was a TV war. I was a child at the time, and it didn't make sense to me then. And so we didn't have any war in my lifetime in our country until 9/11. And then I saw they didn't bomb any military base. They bombed our buildings. They were killing innocent people who had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And then it was literally like a light went on. It was like, it was, I understood why we had military, why we needed to be secure in our country, and just kind of everything. Then it was like I had to think back of all the stupid things I used to believe in, and it's embarrassing. It's hard to admit, to have to say I was wrong, but I was wrong.
Now take us through the progression now where you go from that point in life to being now such an activist, especially doing media.
Yeah. I was completely non-political. I had strong beliefs, and I did work on campaigns, but living in LA, I have mostly liberal friends. I went to a very liberal church. On Facebook, I had about 500 friends. 250 were liberal, 250 were conservatives, and it was split right down the middle as LA and Texas.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All my Texas friends were conservative, and all my LA friends were liberal. And I knew what was going on in the country with Obama. I saw the socialism that was starting to seep in, and I wanted to say something, but I knew I would lose friends if I did.
Sure.
My friend Jan Morgan, have to promote this girl. I love her. She and I were in the same different high schools, but we have lived kind of parallel lives in a lot of ways. She was very outspoken about everything liberal, all the progressivism, and I knew I had to say something too.
Sure.
And so when I started speaking out, I lost at least 250 friends right off the bat.
Wow.
I was attacked. I was attacked in real life and on Facebook and personally, and it was horrible for a while. But then I gained a lot more.
Yeah, you start off in Hugh Springs, Texas. You grow up in Northeast Texas, and then you go to Hollywood, basically, to become an actress. What's it like for someone from Northeast Texas with a conservative background going to the L.A. area? And are there conservatives in L.A. and in Hollywood specifically?
Well, and I was a Christian too, so that's the
you
triple
go.
C there. Christian conservative. I was California. It was, there's actually a big, giant underground movement of Hollywood conservatives. And that's one of the things that I've been promoting on my Patriot Update videos. And I've been out there interviewing a lot of these people, and they're wonderful. There's a lot of them are still in the closet, and that's what they call themselves, the California conservative Christian closeted.
Sure.
But there are a lot of really active, you'd be surprised who some of these major movie stars are that support conservative causes, but they do it from behind the scenes. They can't do it. They literally can't, because they will be fired.
Yeah.
There is a blacklist in Hollywood, whether they will admit it or not. They don't get jobs if they speak out. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, now talk about where people can find your work, because you seem to be in several different places that are very easily accessible.
Yeah, I'm on patriotupdate.com. That's where I'm an exclusive columnist
Sure.
with Patriot Update. And I have written for the Reagan Report for about a year, and that's ReaganReport.com. And my new show is Politichicks.tv.
Yeah.
And that's with Victoria Jackson.
Okay.
And two other ladies.
Cool.
Yeah.
When you look at our country right now,
Yeah.
what do you think is the number one challenge that we face? And then tell me who you think can solve that challenge, who can answer the challenge.
Wow. I think we've got to fight apathy and indifference in our country, and I know that with the Tea Party and a lot of we're awake. We know what's happening now, but a lot of people, I still don't think they get how urgent this next election is, and we can't wait until a few weeks or a month before the election. We've got to get out there right now, getting people in the Senate, not just the presidential election. It's the House, it's the Senate. We've got to save every aspect of government. And as far as the presidential race, I'm not sure who I'm for right now. I don't know. I've gone back and forth. Right now, I hate to say it, but I would rather vote for a piece of paper than Barack Obama.
Anybody but Barack.
Anybody but Barack. Yeah. And when it comes down to it, I will vote for whoever runs against him. I won't vote for a third-party person. I'm concerned that we'll have another John McCain situation.
Sure. So if we have, let me put you through the tester, because I've told you before that, on this program we've been talking about, do you vote your convictions or do you vote electability? So if we have a Mitt Romney as the Republican nominee going up against Barack Hussein Obama, and then let's say a Ron Paul emerges as a third-party candidate, would you go with Paul, or would you have to vote for Romney, you think?
No, you're putting me on the spot here.
Nothing binding, but it is an interesting discussion, though.
Yeah, it is. It's really, 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 really important. But I think I would go with whoever the main is.
Sure.
When it comes down to it, it's who's going to get elected. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
I would love to say conviction, follow my heart.
Sure.
But I've done that before, and it doesn't work for me as much as going with my head goes.
Sure. What about Donald Trump? What are you hearing,
Lord,
especially in the circles that you travel in? What are you hearing about Donald Trump? Is he someone that could be elected to that position? Do you think he will run as a third-party candidate if someone who's very conservative is nominated as the Republican nominee?
With Donald Trump, he is wonderful being Donald Trump.
Yes.
And if you'll notice, whenever he does something like this, it's right before his like The Apprentice is going to be on, or right now he's launching a book, so he's promoting his book. I have a feeling if he does say he's going to run, it's going to be right like at the finale of The Apprentice. I think that's when he's talking about, well, maybe later I think he's waiting for whatever's going to benefit him. If you'll notice, though, the reason why he first got attention is because he brought up the birth certificate thing.
That's right.
That's when he got attention. Everyone loves someone who brings up points that other people won't.
That's right.
So that's when he got the most attention, was from the birth certificate. When he dropped that, kind of all of us dropped him too.
Exactly.
And, so
interesting.
He's
flamed out, as they say.
Yeah, he's not gonna, unless he goes after unless he finds the birth certificate and says, if you vote for me, I'll show it to everybody. I don't know.
Now, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, very quickly before I let you go, where can people find your work again?
Politichicks.tv and patriotupdate.com, and you can Google my name, Ann-Marie Murrell, and you'll find a lot of stuff, a lot of mean stuff too, because Huffington Post and Politico hate the Politichicks show. Victoria Jackson is a lightning rod for controversy, which is awesome in a lot of ways. But yeah,
that's exactly right. Ann-Marie, thanks for doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good to
ma'am.
be here.